Welcome to Think Big for Africa podcast. On this podcast, we will bring you interesting conversations with local, national, and international African leaders from all walks of life, home and abroad. Leaders who are doing their bits to progress Africa's development. Conversation topics will range from education, science, health, leadership, politics, business, and many other global issues. Conversations about everything that concerns Africa's development. Africa has so many wonderful achievers worldwide, and this is exactly what we will bring to you on Think Big for Africa podcast. Stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Think Big for Africa podcast. This is Ekene Banye, your host. Today, I have a wonderful, wonderful gentleman, a guy who I met on LinkedIn about 2 years ago. He had a very interesting story. That's why I wanted to connect with him, and thankfully, he said yes. And I've been following him for the last 2 years. And once I started this podcast, I knew I wanted him to be here to tell his story. He's an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and a coach. His book just came out called Through It All, Memoir of Many Trials and Triumphs. That's his name is Kola Olugbodi. Now, Kola, I will say this. Kola and his company won an award, an All Africa Award in 2017. Africa's most trusted quality background check company. And then they were also finalists, Entrepreneur of the Year, All Africa Business Leaders Award. Kola, welcome.
Thank you so much, Ekene. Nice to be here with you.
Thank you. Again, I will say this. Kola, I invited Kola here last week, and he came. Unfortunately, due to human error, we couldn't have this conversation to bring to you. So I also invited him back, and Kola was so graceful that he said yes. Now here he is, and I hope everything will go well today. Kola, yes, let's get to it. You have told me your story, and it's very fascinating. And I want you to tell the story to my audience, because you have a fantastic story which should energize people, because many of us think we have had it rough in our lives. Yes, maybe all of us have had something rough in our lives, but we can all survive all this because you have survived something that many of us didn't go through. And not only survive, you are on top of your game. That's the interesting part. You survive challenging times in your life, and you are on top of your game. That's the thing. That's the story I want you to tell. How you went through this and how you got where you are today. Kola.
All right. Thank you so much, Ekene. All right. The story of my life, especially from childhood. I was born August 6, 1965, in the city of Lagos. But as at that time, my father was working in Port Harcourt. And of course, my mother had to come to Lagos to give back to me. And then she returned back to Port Harcourt, where my father and my two eldest brothers were. And of course, that was around the period of when the Nigerian Civil War was brewing. And so on returning back to Port Harcourt, we didn't have the opportunity of getting the polio vaccine. So from the moment I was born to the time I was taken back to Port Harcourt, I never had the opportunity of getting the vaccine until the close to 1967, when my mother had to return back to Lagos with my two eldest siblings due to the Civil War. And so when we got back to Lagos, one of those days, my mother said the children in the neighborhood, their parents arranged how they will visit the hospital for all of them to be vaccinated with the polio vaccine. So it was a good time for me to also go with them. So my mother followed the parents of those parents, of the children, and I got the vaccine. But after some days that I got the vaccine, the shot, I was on the potty like my mother told me, and I was doing my thing on the potty, and all of a sudden I fell off the potty, and by the time my mother came back, she saw me on the floor, lying on my chest, and she started scolding and telling me, "Oh, you boy, you're always naughty and mischievous. How can you be on the floor while you are pooping?" And now the potty has turned over and was on top of me. And I said, "Get up from the floor." And she said, I told her, "Mommy, I can't stand up." And she tried to pull me up, and then I went all the way back to the floor. And then she realized that I've gone paralyzed. My two legs were paralyzed. And so that was how the problem started. So the only way I could move then was to drag myself along the floor with my two hands, since the legs were paralyzed. So every means of trying to
Recover
ensure that
your wet
I
legs.
get my life back in my legs. They started putting all the measures, tried the orthopedic hospital. Then some people told my mother or my parents and said, "This thing is diabolic. It's obviously not, it's something that goes beyond the eye." So we needed to handle it the herbal way.
Yes.
And so I was taken to a herbal man. Like my mother told me, he also lives in the neighborhood there in Lagos. And then he was giving me some concoctions, and I was supposed to be taken to him every day. And then one of those days, when my mother took me to him, the wife just said, "No, don't enter without your son." And my mother said, "What's wrong?" He said, "That your son. Something is really, really wrong with him." He said, my husband is sick. So my mother had to go see the man, and he was covered with chicken pox from head to toe. And of course, they believed that some witches attacked him overnight because he was trying to undo what they have done. So, that was how they started taking me all over the place. So I was taken to Abeokuta. My grandmother said I was living in Abeokuta then. No, my great grandmother actually. She was living in Abeokuta then and said, she told my mother, bring him over. Some people will be able to attend to him. So I was to a cleric, a Muslim cleric, and Afar, and he did some untos that we like they call it in
Yes.
the family thing. And he believes that once I try some things out, I will regain life back in my two legs. Somehow, yes, he was trying, and all of a sudden the alpha just dropped down and died. And so my grandmother said,
no.
no. It's only the real traditionalists that can handle this. So I was taken to an Obatala priest. Of course, Obatala is believed to be the god of Ifa. That's the Yoruba divinity, And then of course the Obatala priest tried a lot of things, and then he told my mother, "Come back so Thursday." My mother remembered the day very well. She said it was supposed to be a Thursday. I said, come back. Once it takes this, what do they call it? It's more like all these, in Yoruba, concussion. They call it as it's more like concussion.
Yeah.
I said, once it takes it, it must be okay. So my mother was supposed to go on Thursday. The Obatala priest died on Wednesday. All right. So,
oh, no.
Of course, now everybody else.
You must be a very stubborn man.
I didn't know why all those things were happening. So my mother had to. Now somebody said there is one very strong witch doctor in one forest, far in, far into the forest. Say he should be able to handle it. So I was taken into one very deep forest. Of course, I was slightly conscious of that forest. I saw some naked ladies painted in white or thereabouts, Of course, to cut the long story short, I spent like 6 months with the witch doctor.
Wow.
I don't know what he did, but I was able to regain life in my right leg, but the left leg remained paralyzed. All right, so that was the way it is. And maybe because I was very young when the old problem started, it never really meant so much to me. I kept on having the idea that I was like every other normal child. I was like any of my siblings, So I was living with life like that, I think, until I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And then of course, we go to our village only once in a year, and most times it's always during Christmas. And so the Christmas of that year, we were taken to our village. That's one small town in Osun State, Nigeria, called Ara. So of course, we're always excited going to the village, and somehow the Christmas for that year coincided with the masquerade festivity of the town. But it made no sense to us coming from Lagos. So one of those days, we decided to hit town with some of my cousins. I think one or two of my siblings, and then we had one of my uncles. The uncle was just like a year older than me.
Okay, yeah. It's normal.
The son of the third or fourth wife of my grandfather.
Your grandfather.
Yes, So we all hit down, and then I think when we got to the market square of the village, we just had this drumming coming from nowhere, and then all of a sudden everybody started running helter skelter, and so we had to ask the people in the town, say, what's happening? They said oh, they mentioned the name of the masquerade. I can't remember. They said that masquerade just came out, and that's the drumming you are hearing, and it's not supposed to meet anybody on the road.
The road. Okay.
And so my cousins, I think my two siblings, that my uncle, everybody took
they legged it.
You know? And of course, I was also supposed to run for my dear life.
Yes.
And then I started running. But like I always say, there are runners and runnies. They were running on their two strong legs. I could only, my own running was upping on my right leg. And then, of course, attempting to escape. So at the point, of course, because of the fright and fear and everything in the air, I was running, hopping rather, falling over. Then I started screaming. I started crying. Of course, first to my relatives. Please, somebody wait for me. Somebody help me. Somebody needs to help me out of this. But it was every man for himself that day.
Yeah.
God for us all.
Yeah.
Everyone in the town also was running helter-skelter. Nobody was ready to help
you.
me. So I really, really broke down and I started crying. Of course, the cry first was because I was afraid that the masquerade might catch up with me.
Yes.
But when everybody decided not to
wait
to my calls and cries, the weeping, the crying continued. But this time around, it was no more because of the masquerade. I discovered that it was more because of betrayal, so to speak. I felt betrayed, more especially by my relatives. They should have known my condition. One of them should have at least stopped to assist
help
or
you.
whatever. So in the midst of the confusion and the crying, and of course, I just discovered that in my small young heart, I just started making some very strong decisions that then I never knew the implication of those decisions. You know, it just occurred to me that, oh, so in life, when you think you need people most, that's when they will desert you. You know, now that I needed people's help, nobody was ready to help. So it just dawned on me that, so in life, if you need people, the moment you need them most is when you are likely to be deserted or disappointed. So I just told myself at that young age that if I'm going to escape from this masquerade, it has to be by my own effort or my own doing. It's not going to be because anybody is going to save me, you know. So I told myself, of course, like the implication of it is that Kola, your destiny is in your hand.
Yes.
And that day I just told myself, I said, I will never, never trust human beings again. Not trust them again. I was crying and I was saying, I won't trust anybody again. You know, I didn't know the implication of what I was saying or telling myself. You know, at the point that my uncle ran back, he discovered that I was very far back. Then he ran all the way back and said, yeah, Kola, hop on my back. Of course, I jumped on his back and I changed the gear of my crying because I felt all right. So now that you feel that it's convenient for you to come back,
oh my
now you
God.
get back. Because, of course, by then, the masquerade had taken another route.
Yeah.
So it wasn't coming close to me again. I just told myself that, all right, people will only help you when they feel it's convenient for them. You know, so my uncle came back, but he came back too late because I've already made some very deep decisions in my life. You know, so I just discovered that from that time. Of course, before that time, I used to enjoy lots of pity party, lots of prevention treatment. At home, they won't allow me to do any hard work. Oh, no, don't carry that. Yeah, you have a bad leg. Oh, no, don't fetch water. You have a bad leg. Oh, no, don't stay in the kitchen. You have a bad leg. But you see, from that incident, I told myself, of course, I've already told myself, your destiny is in my hand.
Your hand.
Is in my hand. So from that time, I told myself, I won't allow anybody tell me you can't do it again. Because if I've been trying to some things by myself, maybe I will not be too disappointed.
Yeah.
So anytime you tell me, oh, Kola, don't do this, I would just say, don't worry, I will do it.
Mm.
Oh, don't carry the pail of water. I will carry it all the same. Everything may almost pour away, but I'll tell myself,
you do it.
Let me carry it. You know, so I grew up with that can-do spirit. I grew up having that so much self-dependence on myself.
Yes.
Because I just felt, no, nobody can be trusted.
You see, Kola, I don't know why you made that decision the way you did, because someone else could have made a different decision. Okay. But you made a decision to be dependent on you. And it has got you where you are. I mean, your story, how you drive manual cars. It's, hello, Kola, I have my own difficulty, okay? I can't drive manual cars. I have to drive an adapted car. I have to drive a what's it called? Automatic, and then it's automatic and it's adapted. That's what I drive. You drive manual cars. How?
Well, you know, one thing I've discovered about we human beings, until we discover ourselves, you won't know your strength.
Yes.
You won't know what you are capable of doing. You won't know how much you are endowed with, the type of nature, the type of strong will that some of us are endowed with. So I think that incident just helped me to discover that I can be strong-willed. I can not be easily persuaded or dissuaded from doing something. You know, so I remembered growing up like that. One of those days, my father started teaching my siblings how to drive, at least let them undo his car and move it around. So I remember one of those days we followed him to his farm. And of course, the road there was always very free. That was in our village, very close to the village after he retired, you know. And so he called one of my siblings, oh yeah, you come and drive. And that one was able to move the vehicle on the along the road of the farm. Then he said, oh yeah, you come. Of course, incidentally, I have 8 siblings.
Okay. And, so you need to wait your turn.
I need to wait my turn. And of the 8, 7 of them are guys. Wow. So we are 8 guys and a lady. So he was teaching them one by one. I think when he got to the 4th one, then I said, all right, Daddy, my turn. And he just looked at me with pity and he said, Kola, you won't be able to drive this car, this type of car. He said it's a manual car. And then he was trying to console me. So he said, when you grow up, you will be rich enough to buy an automatic for yourself. Then you'll be able to drive that. You know, I just smiled. That's the way I normally smile. Some mysterious, naughty-like type of smile. I just said, I'm going to prove to you that I can drive your car. I didn't tell him. So, of course, with time, anytime he leaves the car in the garage, I will go there, put it on. Then I was bold enough to start moving it gradually, front and back.
Wow.
You know, and of course, trying and teaching myself different techniques that I can use to really maneuver myself to drive this manual car. You know, so on the long run, I told myself, okay, you can actually use one leg to drive. even though it has 3 pedals. You will use the paralyzed leg to compress the clutch. And so I will use my left hand holding my thigh, and then I will press it down, and then the clutch, of course, press the clutch. So then, of course, I use this part of my hand when I'm pressing the clutch to hold the gear. To hold the steering. That part quickly goes down, change the gear. Then I will release my leg from the clutch. The second hand goes back on the.
Oh my God!
Steering. That was how
adventurous.
After many attempts, I was able to start moving the car. And I told myself, yeah, I can drive. But the first day I was going to move it on the road, I almost killed myself. A car was in front of me. And of course, it was my first time of, bringing the car on the main road. So the car in front of me had a train routine is on. So he started contemplating whether to cross a railroad. And then he decided, the train is still far. So before the train got to him, he just moved on. I was still struggling with clutch and with brake and with throttle, using hand to press this one, using leg to. So by the time I got to the railroad, the car just
stopped.
It just switched off. It just stopped, And then the train started blasting the horn much louder. Of course, he saw that a car was along his path. And so it was coming close. Of course, there's no way he could apply the brake then.
Yeah.
And so, of course, people around the place that started crying and screaming, get down from the car, get down from the car. But that can do thing inside of me said, you should be able to move it.
My God.
But I will put on the ignition, try to move the car, we jack to the front and jump back on the railroad. And then the train was so close. And somehow, something like we normally say, just made me look at the gear, and I discovered that it was in gear 3. And that's why it kept jumping to the front and back. So I just changed it to gear 1. Then even before I switched on the ignition, my left hand has compressed the left leg on the clutch. The right leg was on the throttle and it was down. Then I just switched on the ignition, released my leg, and then the car just flew
Kola.
off the railway line.
See,
and then the train went behind me.
you have lived 1,000 lives. See,
I think I'm on the 1,010th now.
See, because this story is, oh my God. Wow. Well, it's part of that desire to survive, to do things.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I will say this. Your desire to be independent is something that, yes, I encourage that, okay? And I still want people to hold on for the community, okay? Yes, what happened to you should not happen, okay? But then I still want people to be independent, even as part of a community where we help each other, okay?
But
right. Then if members of the community are so dependent on somebody who will now help others. So I want everybody to be independent, and then to be able to help.
Can depend on you. Yeah.
Yes. You see, it's when we all bring something to the table that being supportive becomes interesting, because yes, right. you are supporting somebody. Tomorrow, when you need them, they will support you.
You are very right.
Okay. So what I see happening now is that some people, a few people, are supporting a large population, and that's where it's not working.
Yeah.
And then at the top of it, our countries are so dependent on the West, on China, on India, even though we have all the resources.
You're right.
To do everything we want.
So true.
So that's by the way. You and your company are one of the best background checking in Africa. So tell me, how did you get into background checking?
All right. Thank you so much, Ekene. My life is is full of many mysteries. Now, getting into background check, for me, it is both divine and accidental.
Yeah.
Both divine and accidental. Um, like when I left, one thing in me has always been, I've always had the mind I was going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to enter into it. So when I left university, of course, I served with National Population Commission.
Okay.
I was retained by the commission due to my hard work and performance during my NYC. So that was civil service. And then when I get my salaries, my first salary was like 600 naira. I said, oh, all right. So this is what a whole graduate gets. So I just feel, when I move to the bank, I think I should get better. So I crossed over to a bank, from civil servant to being a bank. Yeah, my salary went from 600 to, I think, my first salary in the bank, 1,500 or so. But with time, the needs and whatever went up also. And so I was back in square one. And so I've always told myself, I think I need to be an entrepreneur. But one day I was with some of my friends, and one of them, just in passing, just threw a Yoruba proverb. And I said, my friend, what is the meaning of that proverb? Of course, I've heard it severally.
Yes.
And I never knew the meaning of the proverb,
yes.
the Yoruba proverb. So I said, so what's the meaning? Then he told me, so you don't know? I said, no, I don't. So that's why I asked. So he said, the proverb said it's in two parts. He said, Ishede Omo Alasheje, Owore Omo Alashela. He said the first part, Ishede, means, oh, this is work.
Yes.
Now you can eat. But this is business. Now you can excel, or you can prosper. So he said the meaning is that when you work, maybe as for salaries, you only earn your salary so that you will have something to eat.
Yes.
I said, if you really want to be wealthy in life, then you need to be involved in business. And that was like, it was as if a light bulb just went on over my head. And I said, yes, this is it. So as long as I'm a salary earner, I will only be working to eat.
Yeah.
I want to be wealthy.
Yeah.
I want to be prosperous. And so due to some incidences, I had to leave the bank. I didn't know the business to go into. So the first thing I tried was to go into catering with my wife. Okay. With time, I decided, no, okay, my wife can do that alone. I can't, there's no way I can do catering along with her. Then I tried my hand in supplies, supply of stationaries to government offices. It wasn't clicking very well. Along the line, I started a commodity business for households. and the business really was doing well, and it was really excelling until a time just came and the business ran into troubled waters, and it just nosedived. And before I know it, I was in debt to um, several people that have
Wow.
invested in the business, that have booked for commodities ahead that could not meet their demand.
Yeah.
And so trouble came. Um, some people brought in the police, some people sued me to court.
Wow.
And before I knew it, of course, the business went under. We lost everything. And I say lost, myself and my wife, we had nothing again. Uh, no savings, no nothing. And so when that happened, we had to move from a very palatial house to a friend that obliged us to come stay in his boys' quarters. So we moved from a palace to a boys' quarters. Then everything, we lost everything. No work. Um, of course, with time we started knowing what hunger was, no
Mm.
food,
Mm.
and then we started losing friends.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, in the midst of that, we got married. We didn't have children. So we didn't have children. We didn't have work. We didn't have food. So things were so bad.
Bad.
So that time I started trying my hands on many things. Tried to start a pure water business. It flopped. Try all these multi-level marketing business, selling supplement, food supplements.
Mm.
Um, they said if I buy a combo pack, I will make downlines, and the downlines will push me upline, and then my wells will be going sideline. I thought it was going to. I was able to make one downline. I could not sell everything in the combo pack. We ended up putting everything at home. I was trying many things, and I
Yes.
kept failing until the year um, 2001. You know, I have tried many things, nothing was happening. Then I prayed that year, you know. Along the line, when I was in university, of course, I got born again.
Yeah.
I gave my life to Jesus. I had a relationship with God. So in 2001, of course, university was 1984 to 1988, you know. So in 2001, when everybody was saying Happy New Year and they were making New Year resolutions, I just told myself, no, I'm not going to try anything to this year. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you.
All right. So I said, I'm not going to try anything this year unless God leads me and make me know what I'm going to do next.
Mm.
I'm not going to try anything because everything I've tried for almost like 3, 4 years,
Yeah. Failed.
or even 5 years actually, kept on just meeting those roadblocks. So I prayed. And in January of that year, you know, I just felt impressed on my spirit that I should read Isaiah chapter 41. So I started reading from verse 10. Fear not, I will help you. Don't be dismayed, I will strengthen you. I will uphold you with my right hand of righteousness. And it went all the way to verse 15. And verse 15 says, I will make you into a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth.
Mm.
You will thresh mountains, you will beat them small,
Mm.
you know. And then it just went on. So when I got to that verse 15, I felt something. I felt God was trying to tell me something. So I was
Yeah.
praying, and it got impressed on my heart after praying that I felt God telling me, I'm going to start something entirely new through you in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Nobody is doing it yet.
Mm.
So I felt, okay, something new. Is there anything new? Can anything be new? You know, but I just believed God, you know. And of course, that scripture, you always see it all over me. It's
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
behind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Wow.
will make a new shop. There is my room at home. It's in my office.
Yeah.
It's all over me. You
Yeah.
know, I keep reminding myself what I felt um, I had from God. Of course, to cut the long story short, um, things didn't happen immediately. At the junction, I just felt that I should start a recruitment agency.
Yeah.
So I started a recruitment agency, and we specialized in giving out support staff, passengers, drivers, um, office assistants, those support staff, you know. And of course, people were demanding and we were supplying to them. But I was at the point always afraid that what if any of these guys misbehave where we have outsourced them? What if they steal their master's vehicle? What even if they go to the extreme of injuring or killing somebody in the house? I know they will come back for me. So that fear was there. And so once in a while, some of them will say, can you vouch for these people you have given to us? And I will say, yeah, they performed very well during the interview. And they say, can you vouch for them? There's something that in you that will say, yeah, I can. But deep inside, I will say, oh, can you? So while I was going through that dilemma of, what do we need to do to ensure we don't enter troubles with these people? Then suddenly one of my younger brothers, he was working in a multinational then, and his company was supposed to run background check on all its staff. And then they searched for background check complaint all over Nigeria. They could not get any.
Wow.
And so my brother felt, this is the business opportunity. So he started researching on background check and what does it entail and blah, blah, blah. After he had really gone so far with the research and the feasibility study and everything, it just dawned on him that, I can't leave my paid employment now. I can't have the time to do this thing the way I will want to do it. So it's just dawned on him that actually he was supposed to turn over the idea to me and all the research he has done.
Wow.
So when he gave me those things, to me, I just felt, what is this idea? But I started going, as I was running through what he has done, background check, check educational verification, check where people have worked in the past, ensure they don't have problems with the police. It just clicked on my head that this is the solution to the problem. This is it. And of course, that was how we went into background check. Nobody was doing it in Nigeria. That was in 2003 when I dabbled into it. Of course, I tested the waters. I discovered, nobody was doing it in Nigeria, but this thing is going to work. And so 2004, we incorporated the company, Background Check International. I remembered when I started going around to tell people, I'm going to start the background check company. I was looking for investors or whatever. People said, no, this thing is not going to work in Nigeria. I remember somebody telling me, said, so who is doing it in Nigeria? I said, nobody is doing it yet. He said, that is it. If it's going to be an idea that we work in Nigeria, somebody would have been doing it before now.
So they didn't think that somebody like you must start it.
I've gone through many troubles that people actually now take me to be a dreamer, somebody disillusioned.
Man, Kola, see, we have so many things in common. Really, seriously.
All right, so that was our background check was given back to 2004.
Wow.
And of course, I was like the only staff when we started.
Of course,
they have money. Nobody was ready to invest in it. So one of my cousins' sitting room was my first office.
Wow.
Because I didn't even have money for a laptop or anything.
So
he had a desktop. So his desktop was my first computer. My first set of proposals. Of course, I printed it on his printer. And thank God I could drive. I had a car. So I was driving around Lagos, dropping proposals all over the place. So I was the CEO. I was the dispatch rider. I was the business development officer. I was the
that is the life of an entrepreneur.
That's actually it.
That's it.
It, you know. Of course, I say all this so that people would always know that it's not every time you need to start big.
Yeah.
See, you may actually need to start small. You need to actually start lean. By the time we got the first job, sincerely speaking, my office had moved to my mother's sitting room somewhere in Lagos.
Wow.
Also. And by the time the second, third jobs came in, the only thing that looked like an office was an uncle's office somewhere in Ikeja that I was managing with him.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I could still not afford to get an office.
Yeah.
But when the jobs started coming in, it dawned on me that, another industry have started in Nigeria. We have pioneered it. Now we have to be business-like.
Yes.
Now people started believing in me. We're able to get investors, get a proper office. Our first number of staff were like 5 then, and the complaint is going to be officially is it 16 next month, April 1.
Mm-hmm.
We have close to 100 staff now.
Wow.
We cover the whole of Nigeria, and at least we've passed in 1 or 2 other African countries.
See,
our vision is to actually be the number 1 background check company in Africa. So we are covering the whole.
Well done.
So people always think that some of these things is like rocket science, and then you have to come from a very, very, very powerful background before you can actually venture into some of these things. I tell people, you can do it. All you need to do is believe in yourself.
Yeah.
One thing I know about myself is that I just have that can-do spirit. I believe so much in myself, and of course, I found somebody I could trust eventually, and that was God. And people always ask me, so do you now trust people?
Well, after you check them, yes.
You can't do without others. You understand?
Yeah.
Just like 2 weeks ago, my wife said, you don't always trust people. You give them an assignment and then you run ahead to do it yourself. I said, oh, do I do it? I thought I've started trusting people enough. But I'm working at it to trust people.
Yeah.
But most times when you really release yourself to some people, then they actually always behave like human beings. But maybe because of one or two behaviors, not.
Yeah. Kola, your story is fascinating. And just like you said, people need to understand that being an entrepreneur and being a successful entrepreneur is not easy. You see, sometimes people think, they think being an entrepreneur is like a paid employment. It is not.
No, it's
you see,
not.
You start one thing, it doesn't work. You start another thing, it doesn't work. See, if you see most successful entrepreneurs, you find out that there are very few people who start one thing and it works. Very, very few.
You're
Many,
right.
the first thing that works for them might be the 8, 9, 10 thing they start.
Exactly.
Maybe 10 years after along the line, they have suffered. That's why most people lose hope very easily and they quickly run back to employment. and they now start telling they now start telling everybody, no, it won't work. It won't work. See,
we are not all supposed to be entrepreneurs.
okay, yes, that's true.
That's the story they will say.
Yes,
because they have tried and it didn't work.
And it didn't work for them. Yeah,
not everybody can be entrepreneurs.
Yes, that may be true. But one thing is this: if we don't have people who have a can-do attitude,
all right,
then where are we going? Who will create jobs for tomorrow?
Exactly.
That's it. So we need more people like you. See, you have a staff of over 100 people.
Close to 100.
Okay. I mean, so if you have like 1,000 people like you, hello, the more of you we have, the less unemployment will be in the country.
That's so correct.
I'm so proud of you. Tell me,
thank you, Ekene.
What's the biggest challenge in the industry?
The biggest challenge in the background screening industry in Nigeria. Of course, basically, it's always, people ask me many times, how do you do background check in Nigeria where there's no data? I tell people we have the data.
Okay.
Only that most of the data are in manual form.
Okay.
Not the electronic form.
Okay.
All right. So one of the biggest challenge is that conducting background check in Nigeria takes a lot of legwork. If you want to get confirmed certificates in universities, except for the private universities that started from the digital angle, most of the first generation or second generation, most of those federal universities and state universities in Nigeria, everything is still done manually. I think things are getting better now, but I mean, when we first started and the background screening was so strange, or verification was so strange, of course, for you to if you were going to verify you, or someone like me that left university in 1988, we must be ready to get dirty, because our record will be in one archive, in one dusty store somewhere. So at times we need to go with the exams and records staff to go bring out piles of
records,
old stuff, I mean files, before you can actually get Kola Olugbodi's record. Those are some of the challenges we still have, even though things have changed so tremendously. But we discovered that is still a big problem. And then of course, another thing is the fact that on daily basis we face that skepticism. Maybe you go to somebody's guarantor or his referee and you say, oh, I want to find out about Ekene. Is going to be working with one of our clients, and he gave you as one of his referees. Can we get reference from you? And then people get so skeptical, and they get afraid, and they said, we hope Ekene has not entered into trouble. We hope you are not from the SSS or DSS or from the police. Please tell us the truth. What happened to him?
See,
so those are some of the skepticism. So some of them would need to call
that person to know that he's not in trouble.
Do you know that somebody is asking questions on you? So one of the things we do is that, of course, for background check is not investigating. I mean, it's not the type of investigation that you don't know about. So even before we run checks on you, you must give us the consent. Your consent to the verifications.
Very good.
You are in the know.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like trying to surprise you.
Yes.
So most times people will need to call such personnel and say, "Oh, are you aware?" And they say, "Please give them the information they need. Um, we are from them, you know. I mean, they are from my company, you know." So that's another challenge. And of course, maybe one of those challenges is that Nigeria is a place where nothing is stable. We are praying that it gets better.
Yeah.
Today is strike. The next moment is student unrest. And so what you think you're going to get in 1 or 2 days may span another 3 weeks. Some may even go 6 months.
Wow.
Like since the pandemic, uh, some has closed shop. And since they don't have anything digital,
Wow.
we actually have been we have just been at limbo. And then when the pandemic was relaxed, some of the schools went on strike. So those are some of the challenges we have. So there are some of those information sources that we don't have control over, like the schools, like NYC, like some of the professional bodies or association, you know. That 17 years down the line, we are coping and we are getting better.
So tell me, do you see the digitalization of data as an opportunity, or is this something that must be done at government level?
You know, the way things are now, getting digital, it's no more something anyone can just say, oh, maybe is it necessary or not. Now it's a must to do.
It's a must. Yeah,
it's a must to do. You know, so those are some of the educating or the education we are trying to give to some of them, and for them to see the importance of going electronic or digital with their records. And some will tell us, oh, we don't have the resources to do that. Oh, you will need to do us to us and printers for us to go to do it. You know, so those are some don't really see the importance yet. That's just, the simple truth. But the private schools in Nigeria, they know the importance of data.
Yeah.
You understand? So, almost all of them started with, of course, it's all about the school's portal. Registration is made by the school portal. So they already have the data, they already have everything.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's just lack of knowledge that is making people that feel we don't need to go digital. That's what
this is where I have problems, especially with the kind of organizations you are reaching out to, like schools. For us to say lack of knowledge in a school in the 21st century, lack of knowledge in a school. To say people who work in a school, in a university, don't think that data needs to, I can't phantom that. I just can't think about it.
It's an irony, but sincerely speaking, if we all know that these things are so important, we won't even count how much it will take us to invest in it. You know, if institutions know that their students or their graduate, I mean, their graduates, the opportunity or the possibility of their getting jobs,
yes,
depends on the school
on that.
responding to some of those requests so fast. But sincerely, some can't be bothered. They said, we are only his teachers. If he gets salary, will he come back to us?
Can you imagine that?
So, but I know that with time, things are gradually changing. Clearly, things are changing. Some are really waking up to these realities.
Yeah.
And the problem of some is that, so where do we start?
Yeah.
And sincerely, some just feel we don't have the money to embark on this project.
Well,
but I know things are going on. Talks and discussions are going on with schools to see how to assist them move from the Stone Age.
Yeah, because they're still in the Stone Age. Yeah. So see, Kola, your story, your success, it's exciting to hear you. Tell me, in 20 or 30 years time, what is your view of Africa, of Nigeria, of the way we will see data that are on your space? How do you think we'll see it?
On a general level, 10 years from now, I'm always an optimistic person. I believe Africa would have woken up.
That's part of this podcast. Yeah.
Africa would have woken up to discover not only their potentials, but what they actually what they have embedded in Africa.
Yeah.
Like somebody said, almost all the mineral resources God put them in Africa, but we don't know what to do with them.
Well,
and then
that's why China is coming to ship it off.
We sent for Europeans and people from other parts of the world. They mine the resources.
Yes.
Pay us tokens.
Yes.
Take those into their own country, refine.
Yes. And then come and sell the product back to us.
At very exorbitant prices.
Yes.
And so the token or the that we thought we were paid at first and we were happy about, they get it back almost like 20 times.
Okay. Yeah.
But I believe that with time, we're going to wake up. We are going to realize our potentials. We are going to realize our strengths. We are going to realize that we are so much endowed.
Yeah.
And then we will actually make sure that which the Lord has blessed us with, we handle them ourselves. We process them ourselves.
Yeah.
And
that's why I was so happy when I heard Nana Akufo, the president of Ghana, talking to the president or prime minister of Switzerland.
Yeah.
I don't know when that event happened, but I just saw it this week. I mean, I was happy that he was bold to tell her, this is what we are going to do going forward. We'll process our cocoa, and then we're going to have chocolate companies in Ghana to make chocolates. Yeah. Unfortunately, the Swiss president was not happy. Yeah. Well, I don't expect her to be happy about it, but it has been going on too long. it has been going on for too long.
Just like I think it's Bob Marley that said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Um, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. We get to that point and we realize that we are much more than what and who we think we are in Africa. It wasn't like this. It wasn't like this in the 50s, in the 70s.
Well, it wasn't like this because
early in the 70s. You understand? At least when I was going to, in 70s, I was in primary school, early 70s. I know that Naira was far stronger than dollar. You understand? Things were working.
Yeah.
And we just need to borrow the wisdom of our, like we say, heroes past. What did they do? What did Awolowo do to build Cocoa House? What did he do to start the first television station in Africa?
Yeah.
What did he do to start the Obafemi Awolowo University, which was University of Ife in those days? You understand? They didn't borrow money from no foreign reserve or country. Every resources that went into those infrastructures all came from Nigeria.
Yeah. Well,
and then we've not even discovered oil.
Let me tell you the one big difference between then and now. The people who were leading us were well educated. Well, when I say well educated, okay, they were the premium brand in the country. Look at our politicians now. Are they? That's it. That's number one. That's number one factor. The people who are leading us now are not the cream of the crop, unlike before.
You see, we can say all these, but like I tell people, so we are the real people that can do it. They are not involved in politics.
Yes, yes.
So we always get, like I tell people, every country deserves what they get.
Oh yeah.
The real people that feel, oh, I have the expertise, the skill, the whatever to do it. If we will not get involved, of course, we'll keep getting what we have now.
Exactly.
But sincerely speaking, I believe everything happening now will work together for our good in Africa. All the pains, all the sufferings, all the having so much resources around you, but none to do you good. All those things are going to culminate, and then there will be a tipping point when we will know that everybody will know that.
Well, no see the trouble compared to 40 years ago,
yeah,
and now is the vast population difference.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. And yet again, in the next 20, 30 years, the population will nearly double. So this is a time for us to actually do something to change this trajectory of Africa.
I believe something will change, and it will change very soon.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be violent.
No.
It doesn't need to be any whatever. It's just a matter of everybody deciding to do the right thing. You understand? It's all about putting the right peg in the right hole. We're going to get there. That's money will no more rule our situations and affairs.
Yeah.
The integrity will, the will to do the right thing or right things.
Well,
We
we really need that will to do the right thing. And that's a very, yeah. Okay. So, Kola, so tell my audience where they can get you and your company if they need your services.
Thank you so much, Ekene. The company's website is www.bcilimited.com.
Okay.
BCI, of course.
Okay. I'll make sure I put that in the YouTube channel. Yeah, for them to see.
Is in full, limited.com.
Okay.
And if you want to reach me, of course, I'm very active on social media, LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Instagram.
on LinkedIn. Yes, that's why I reached out to you in the first place. Yeah.
So you can always get me on any of the social media.
Okay.
I've discovered that I'm actually the only Kola Olugbodi in all the social media. Yeah.
So you have a unique name.
It's unique.
Wow. Kola, thank you very much. I cannot thank you enough. Okay, because for you to agree to come back for this, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me over.
All right.
And for everyone that will be listening to this, please believe in yourself. Believe in your God. If you have a God, like I do.
By the way, your book, Through It All. Where can people get it if they want to buy it?
Yes, you can. Of course, it's on Amazon. So for people in US, UK, you can always get it on Amazon.
Okay. Through It All. Memoirs of Many Trials and Triumphs.
And then you can always order for it on its website, tia.com.ng.
Okay. tia.com.ng.
tia.com.ng.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Kola. Take care.
You're welcome, and it's been nice chatting with you.
All right. Bye.
Bye, my brother.
Listen or watch more episodes of Think Big for Africa podcast with new guests every week. Subscribe to ensure that you are notified whenever new episodes are available.